Hello, Internet. If you click this video, you're probably in your late 20s, early 30s, maybe a little bit older, and you feel like it's too late for you to start pursuing content creation or some sort of creative endeavor online and potentially make a career out of it. But I'm going to talk about, from my perspective, why I think that's not the case. So let's get into it. So, first of all, this is something that I think everybody knows, but doesn't really consider because you like what you like, but there's a market for everything. I make videos where I talk about mental health, I talk about life, I'll talk about music and other stuff sometimes, but a lot of the times it's just me talking about my feelings on certain things and my perspective and my experience. Now, does that really require an age for that to be the case? I would say probably not. An example that I always think of, I think it's called Dry Creek Wrangler School, something like that. You guys have probably seen the videos, at least on your homepage. This guy is like, I don't know how old he is, but he's like middle-aged, older. He's got, gray beard, gray hair. And he just does like these one-take videos of him talking about life. It's all about finding what you want to do and where you fit into it. And you have to approach it in that way because everybody else is relevant. You're never just an individual. That's something that also took me a while to realize is when I was younger and I was pursuing music, and I wasn't satisfied with how it was going or any of that stuff. I saw myself as an individual. And I just had to do everything myself and work towards a specific goal and completely carve it out myself. Even though I was collaborating with people and I was working with independent labels, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't even matter who you're working with or who is involved with your creative process, because even if you are doing everything all by yourself, there's always other creators that are going to be similar to you in some way that people will either choose to watch or watch both of you. But you're always going to be competing with somebody or multiple people or lots of people, really, because at the end of the day, it all just comes down to attention. And whoever gets the attention is the one that succeeds. But, some attention is better than others. Having a lot of attention is not always better than having a little bit of attention. Sometimes all you need is a certain amount and then you're good. But I think I want to get into why I think it's actually beneficial to be older when you're at the beginning of your career, per se, as a content creator, an artist, something in that realm. So most people have the perspective of when you're young, you work, you grind, and then you retire when you're, older in your 60s, 70s, and then you get to relax. This isn't even relevant to just people online. This is everybody kind of has this mentality. But I think for me personally, if I focused all of my life on my career and on my creative work, there's a lot of internal growth that I would have not done. And I would have either tried to skip over or it would have affected me negatively in the future because I didn't work through certain things. If you guys watch my channel, I've deal with mental health issues, and if I didn't address a lot of that stuff, I would not be here today. I'll leave it at that. If you're interested in more of that, I have a bunch of videos on my channel. I'll put one right there just to check out. Also, just for context, I pursued music. I tried to pursue music as a career from 2011 to 2022, and then I stopped and started focusing fully on YouTube and streaming and stuff. Not to say I don't make music still, but I just changed my perspective and my direction. And I think when you're young, especially, very rarely do you know exactly what you want to do. So sometimes you can work on stuff and it doesn't even end up working out. And it's not at any fault of your own. It's just that's not what was supposed to happen. Like music, for example, I could have compromised my music and tried to make beats for artists that were more popular, stuff like that. I could have gotten placements. I have connections in music where I could have made something work if I really wanted to and worked really hard. But at the end of the day, that would have been kind of wasted time because I realized that's not what I want to do. I'd rather just make my music, do my own thing, and not try to make money off of it or a career or whatever. But when it comes to this, YouTube and talking about ideas and explaining things and expressing my mind in a more literal way, I can do this all day. And I don't care what people think. I'll put it out there. I'm not as sensitive with my videos like this as I am with my music. So that was the thing that made me shift my focus to really pursuing these videos, is because it's something that I can do consistently and feel good about it and not feel drained and not feel like it's sucking the life out of me and not get upset when I don't get the results that I want. Because music is so much more personal and it's so much more like it's an expression of your soul. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. I think everyone's going to have to be working when they're old for the most part. Unless you get super, super lucky. Nobody really retires. It's so rare. And it's going to be even, who the fuck knows what's going to be happening in the future? It's going to be even worse, you know? So it's like, not to say I didn't work when I was in my 20s. I definitely pursued my music very strongly from my teens all through my 20s. But I always prioritized myself as a person over an idea of a career. Does that make sense? Growing as a person, going to therapy, working on myself, you know, like investing in my relationships and really putting a lot of effort into keeping my friends that I have and good relationships with my family and my partner. Like that stuff all matters to me more than the idea of some online career, because this can all go away even if I do succeed, but I'll still have my partner and my family and my friends. And that's what really matters. And everybody knows that. But it's really hard to do both at the same time. It's really hard. So a lot of people think that they have to just fully go full on into pursuing their creative endeavors and not acknowledge anything that's happening in their real life. And maybe it works for some people, but with my, my specific issues that I deal with, that would not have worked. I would have imploded. I would have squandered all of my potential and I would have just thrown it all away because there was things mentally getting in the way of my daily functioning. And you need to be able to function daily in order to do anything. So I feel really lucky that all of my L's and all of my young ideas that I had in my mind and the things that I really would have been putting out there fully for everybody to see would not represent who I am today. And obviously growing is just part of life, so everybody's going to grow and change, but I would rather grow to a certain point where I feel comfortable and confident and then go full on pursuing what I want to do. And for me, it just took until I was 30 for that to happen. But now I'm at a place where I'm super confident and I'm really doing the best I've ever done mental health wise and just in my life in general. I have a routine. I feel really good about where my life is at outside of anything on the internet, any sort of creative pursuit. So I don't have to worry about both things. Most people have to worry about their career and their life. And, things happen in life all the time, but there's nothing that's super urgent where there's red lights flashing that a lot of people ignore those red lights. And I chose not to do that because I knew that it wouldn't go well. I mean, you hear about it all the time. People get famous and their mental health just goes to shit. And then they either recover and it works out or they don't, And I didn't want to even have that be an option. And again, life happens. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen? But if I can have any say in preventing myself from crashing and burning in my personal life, I want to do that. And what that did for me was it gave me a decade, my 20s, where I was just a regular person. I had regular jobs. I still have a regular job. I worked my ass off, at regular jobs to afford to get by. I interacted with regular people. I came home from my job. I did my music. I did whatever, but then I just lived a normal life. And that is something that also I really am happy that was established, because say I succeed, I make a bunch of money, and then 10 years from now, it all goes away and I have to get a regular job. If someone's baseline for life is success and wealth and fame, they're not going to be able to go get a regular job. Mentally, they could literally, but it's going to be so hard for their ego to come to the conclusion where they have to get a regular job. But I understand that this shit is all fleeting. So if down the road I'm able to live off of my YouTube channel and streaming or music or whatever, and I don't need to have a regular job, then that's amazing. But I also know that that may never happen and that may not last forever. But now that I'm more mature, I have a much more clear vision of what I want. And also my future is now. When people think about their future when they're young, they're thinking about their 30s and their 40s, but I'm in my 30s now. So the future is now. So I have a way better idea of what my future is going to look like because I'm actually here. So I know what to put my energy in and I know what to work towards and I know what to prioritize, which I wouldn't have known that 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. I don't know. I get discouraged all the time still. I'm constantly changing what I'm doing, trying to see what works, what I feel comfortable doing, because I don't ever want something to blow up that I wouldn't want to do again. You know what I mean? Like I'm really into comedy. I'm a very funny person, like in my personal life, like just conversations with people, but it's hard for me to show that on my YouTube channel because I'm usually talking about more serious topics. And I don't want something that's just only funny to get a bunch of attention and then that's what people expect from me. Does that make sense? Like I don't ever want to just be known for being funny. It's all about a balance and figuring out what you really want. I don't know. I feel like now I have the best perspective I've ever had on this topic. So let me know what you guys think. Are any of you pursuing stuff? Let me know. And I put a new video out every Sunday. So I'll see you next time.